live. Now we're good. I'm sorry, I was clicking, it wouldn't work. Thanks, bye. Hi, everybody. That's the pleasure of going live with technology that doesn't always work when you push the button. So I do need help out there. I need someone to tell me that you actually can see and hear me. So please get back and let me know what's going on. So anyway, I'm Karen Sachs. This is the Coffee Break Show on the Metadyne Digital Network. We're so happy to be with you today. I know Vicki Helm is usually here. Vicki is completely fine. She is spending a few days working on a secret project, which you'll all see in a couple of weeks. But for now, I just want to welcome all of you. If this is the first time you've been there and you are on the group, please go over and click that join button. We'd love to have you with us. If you're on YouTube, please push that subscribe button because we have wonderful things scheduled for you with all of our Metadyne digital shows. I want to ask you today, do you believe in ghosts? I mean, for real, do you believe in ghosts? Now, when I was growing up, we had Casper the Friendly Ghost, and we had the Ghost of Mrs. Muir. And I really appreciate because if you would put some other ones down there, I am sure that you all have some other shows from your childhood that I don't remember. So put it right there so that I can see all of you, and you can make my presentation better by telling me what ghosts you grew up with. Now let's talk about ghosts for a minute. First of all, I want to say that, ghosts are more than those little Halloween costumes with the sheet and the big eyes cut out. So I want to ask, hey, Robin and Donald, I see Facebook user. So my guess is that might be Ryan. Robin, if it's not, please let me know who it is. And Scott Stevens. Casper was Scott Stevens' best friend. Oh, thank you. And Robin tells me that Knight Rider the car was a ghost. Now that I didn't know. So there were lots of ghosts when we grew up, and they were all fictional ghosts. But what about real ghosts? There's a statistic that says that more than 45% of Americans believe in ghosts or demons or aliens. Now, I don't know what percent of those actually believe in ghosts, but it's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. And Donald says there's souls still attached to this lower realm. And that's true. That's true. If you believe in ghosts, that's what they are. But I have another ghost I want to talk to you about today. And that is the ghost that impacts your self-esteem, that impacts your success. And those ghosts are messages that are running around in the record of your brain again and again and again. Now, those recorded messages could have come from childhood or something that happened to you in adulthood. When we're born, we don't come out of the womb saying, gosh, I'm really a bad baby. I shouldn't have done that. I probably hurt my mom when I pulled my way out. Babies don't believe that. They're perfect souls. But as we get older, sometimes 2 years old, 5, 10, teenagers, or when we're older, then that's where they can become part of that record that goes round and round in our brains. And Robin stated it perfectly. Those are the ghosts of yesterday's thoughts and beliefs. Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Now, it could happen. People say, oh, my childhood is what caused this. No, it's not necessarily your childhood. What it is knowing that there's something deep inside of you that is not true, but that's the story that you believe. Now, maybe it was something your parents told you, maybe when you got older, your teenage friends talked to you about it, and your self-esteem just went down, down, down into the toilet. Maybe you were a very successful adult, and then something happened in college, your early business career. Maybe you tried to start a business. Things didn't work out quite like you thought they were. And all of a sudden, you are carrying this emotional baggage. Now, when you say we're carrying baggage, that's a great example because the truth is, when you're carrying baggage, think about the airport or when you're trying to load the car. You've got this heavy baggage. I mean, even with the roller guts things, guys, it's still heavy. And at some point, you need to lift it up and put it in the back of a car, on a baggage rack. And it's hard. It's heavy. It weighs you down. When you have that much baggage in your life, what you're going to find is that physically your shoulders hunch. You don't like to make contact with people. You are tired. And most significantly, your self-confidence and self-esteem are much lower than they should be. Yes, I am going to say should. I know the line is you shouldn't should all over yourself. But you know what? You deserve better. And so I'm going to say, as your friend, yes, you should be ready to believe in yourself because there are so many other people who do. But if you don't believe in yourself, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, you aren't going to get past that. Now, Robin says, we often have experiences in our youth during the formative years before 8 years old that impact how we think, believe, and take action on issues until we reevaluate our thinking and beliefs and make intentionally different responses. And Robin, once again, you're segueing right into where I want to be. To get rid of your baggage, it has to be an intentional choice. You can't go to the airport with your baggage and on those little roller things, suddenly just let it roll away and think that it's eventually going to end up on the flight that you want. You need to make an intentional choice to lift the baggage up and put it where you want it to be. It is intentional because no matter what you don't believe, things aren't going to change. If you don't believe that you are worth it, if you say to yourself, well, you know, I made that mistake and gosh, I can't ever start a business again because I tried once and boy, it just was real crapper. It didn't work out. I lost money. I can't ever start a relationship again because, well, I was involved with that guy. He was the love of my life. And then he cheated on me. So I'm never going to get involved again because you know what? It was probably my fault. I wasn't good enough for him. I wasn't worth it. That is horse hockey. It's not true. Wherever your baggage came from, it's time to reevaluate it and see what it is and if you can let it go. Now, a question for you. Have you ever heard the phrase, give up the ghost? Give up the ghost means something that dies, something that expires, passes away, if you want to use proper politically correct language. And so today, I'm asking you to give up the ghost of your baggage that has been weighing you down. Let those ghosts die. They don't deserve to be inside of you. You don't deserve to have them inside of you. Different things have happened to different people. I am confident that there are things that have happened to some of the people who are listening to this that are so horrific, I can't even imagine them. The truth is, whatever the source of our baggage is, it's horrific. It was horrific to you at that moment. And it's probably still horrific in your mind. And I'm not going to make a judgment as to whether it was horrific enough to justify itself as a ghost. Because in your mind, in your experience, it was bad enough that it has changed your perspective about you, about what you can accomplish, and what you believe about yourself. It is time to give up those ghosts. Now, we all know stories about people who have had incredibly terrible experiences, and yet they live these really successful lives. They bounce all around and they're positive and they're very genuine and authentic in the fact that they are positive, happy people. And if we know what those things are, we can look and say, oh my word, they must have such heavy baggage. And Robin just said, and that baggage is so heavy to carry through life, coloring every future experience. It's time for a new perspective. That's true. That new perspective has a first step, and the first step is giving up the ghost. Now, whether you have had what some other people would consider a little experience or a huge experience, know that that doesn't validate, or that doesn't, what they say, doesn't give the perspective of how you should feel. It doesn't matter what other people think. It only matters what you believe. And most importantly, it matters where it came from. If you don't know, then you need to sit down and just think about, well, if I don't want to be involved in a relationship, there must have been something that has stopped me from thinking that I'm not good enough. You are good enough. You're good enough for whatever you want to do. You have to figure out what's holding you back. You can call it all kinds of things. You can say, well, I don't have enough education, or I don't have enough money, or whatever. If you're thinking those things, there is a ghost hiding somewhere in your mind, somewhere in your heart, maybe even somewhere in your soul. And you need to find that ghost and give it up. Now, know that that ghost isn't just going to chase itself out of your mind just because, I've been living here for 10 years, ready to move on to a new place. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to make an intentional choice to show that ghost the door, tell him to get the heck out of town, because you don't want him to live there anymore. You deserve better. You're going to fill that space that that ghost was taking with something much more positive and exciting. It is going to be better if you can make an intentional choice. Now, what about those people who say, you know what, Karen, I just feel badly. I don't feel like I'm worth it. And I really don't know where it started. My parents were good people. I never really had a bad experience. Okay. You don't need to know the source. All you have to do is acknowledge that there is something that happened somewhere in your life, maybe something really, really tiny, that has created a ghost that opened the door of your mind and your heart and moved in. They brought all of their baggage, because with their baggage becomes your baggage. Now, the very profound Don Gifford says, yes, the id is continually striving to be in control of the narrative. It is the true war within us. And as long as they do remain in control, your path will always have obstacles. Focus and attention are imperative as you walk through the valley of ghosts. Wow, Don, I love that phrase, the valley of ghosts. Wow. I want to say hi to Tina, who has just made her first comment. And Robin says, I think you're making a good point, Karen. And I bet there are tons of times that we are completely unaware of ghosts. And that goes back to what I just said. It doesn't matter if you don't know the source of your ghost. You know what? Every single one of us has a ghost somewhere inside of us. Now, maybe it's a little big, maybe it's really big. But we need to acknowledge that we're not perfect beings. There are things inside of us, and those things weigh us down. They make us believe that we can't succeed. They affect our posture and the fact that we don't look people in the eye. We set low expectations. We have a low bar, and we work mediocre. Is that a real word, mediocrely? Yeah, okay, I'll make that up. Put that in the Karen dictionary. Their performance is mediocre, but it doesn't have to be. It's what they believe they can accomplish. You will know that you have chased most of the ghosts out of your system when you set the bar high. when your goals are a little scary for you, because you know what? If they're scary, that gives you the passion to put yourself through to them. And you know what? You can't drag the baggage of those ghosts inside of you. You need to leave them behind at the starting line and move all the way to the finish line. And you'll move fast because you don't have that extra yuck inside of you. Getting rid of those ghosts is transformation. You can't just say, oh yeah, you know what? I got this all figured out. I think that those ghosts, yeah, it's about relationships. It's because I don't think I'm good enough for relationships. So hey, I've decided today I'm going to feel better about myself and get in a relationship. It doesn't work that way. That is a small change. You need to acknowledge that the process of getting rid of those ghosts and that baggage has been around for a long time. And while it's been building in your life slowly, it's going to take something to pull it down slowly. But you'll see the baby steps. You'll see the process. Now, I found some conflicting information about how much luggage airlines lose. I've seen everywhere between 2 and 5%. And of that 2 and 5%, half of those people never get their luggage back, ever. It somehow got sucked into the limbo of luggage heaven. But what about those 5% and only half get their luggage back? That's what the population is like. It's a whole lot more than 5% of us that have baggage. But only half of us will probably make the decision to get rid of the baggage in our life. And I encourage you today to be one person in that half. We've got some great comments here. Excuse me. Robin says, that is wicked profound for 10 a.m. Well stated. Thank you. I don't know what I said, but thanks for telling me it was well stated. Don Gifford said, our ghosts are wicked. Yes, they are. Even though Casper the Friendly Ghost was kind of a good one, not all ghosts that are baggage are good. Casper, good. Baggage, bad. Robin also says, getting rid of those ghosts and putting other more supportive strategies in place is the magic. And yes, everything will seem magical when you get rid of that ghost and you feel inspired to be able to do what you can do. But it isn't magic that's going to make those things go away. That is going to be work. That is going to be awareness. It's going to be determining what issues you have. Now, if you can find out where that baggage started, that is fantastic. Kudos to you. And now it's going to be a little easier for you to begin to deal with those things. But if you can't remember where it started, it's okay. Then all you have to do is tackle what the issue is, not necessarily where it came from if you really don't know. Sometimes it's difficult to get rid of that baggage yourself. And if it is, then what you need to do is get the help you need. Sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a mentor, sometimes it's counseling. But as long as you take control of the desire to get rid of your baggage, if you make an intentional choice to get rid of your baggage, that is an important first step. We've heard it all said, awareness is the first step of getting any healing and improvement. And that is true. Hey, we've got all kinds of stuff in here. Bernard, what type of ghost you're talking about? We have both good and bad. And Bernard, I'm going to summarize that in just a quick minute. Robin said, I bet all the, hold on, I need a sip of coffee to read this one. Actually, I just lied to you. It's water. I don't drink coffee. I bet we all make that decision at one point or another to tackle our ghosts. This is a time for all humanity to have these ghosts poked because of the uncertainty, fear, and loss. A great time to explore the ghosts. Absolutely, Robin. And she says, belief is the foundation. Belief that you, and awareness that you have them. Acknowledging that you have ghosts. Often the people who have the most ghosts, because they don't have high self-esteem or good self-confidence, they don't acknowledge that they have ghosts. If you don't acknowledge, you can't fix it. Now, you may say, no one has the issues like I do. I had a really challenging situation. And I'm going to tell you an example of someone who had a very challenging situation, something that is beyond anything that most of us can imagine. But first, I want to see what Scott Stevens said. Scott said, there's a big store in Scottsboro, Alabama, that is the disposal place for all that lost luggage from domestic airlines. I hear it's a great shopping experience, rummaging through other people's baggage. Scott, only you would say that. And I believe that is Ryan who said, faith over fear. It's a great summary, Ryan. Now back to Bernard's question before I tell you about the people, about a person who has overcome incredible baggage. So Bernard, what we're talking about, yes, there are ghosts out there, whether they have white sheets over them or apparitions. More than 45% of Americans believe in ghosts. But the ghosts I'm talking about today are the ghosts that are in your heart and your head. Those pieces of baggage, those ghosts who have set up shop and set up home in your mind and your heart that tell you that you're not worth it, that you could never be in a relationship, you could never be a business owner, you won't succeed, you're really mediocre at what you do. That's garbage. So I want you to picture a ghost. Perhaps someone like, well, I won't say the name, but some people in my life who feel like it's okay to just leave dishes around, trash on the floor, pile trashes in corners, never put dishes away. That's what ghosts are like. They come in and they start whispering, you're not good enough. You never deserve a good relationship. You're never going to succeed in business. So those little things that they say, those little whispers in the back of your mind, have you start thinking about your worth. And then they start leaving trash around. Leave some plateable food there, throw some trash on the floor. They certainly never pick up. They've got a pile of dishes this big. Well, all of that trash and garbage just keeps weighing down on your shoulders and your back. Now, I've got some more quotes here. Tina said, I have a friend that is helping me expel some of my personal ghosts. It is so freeing and uplifting. Yes, Tina, that's the point. Once you get rid of those ghosts, once you get rid of their baggage, you are free, you're lighter. Remember in the beginning when I said when you've got all that baggage piled on you, physically, it's actually true. Your shoulders slump, you don't make eye contact. But when you feel lighter, when some of that baggage is gone, you look people in the eye. You can stand straighter and walk more proudly because you don't have that negative stuff about you. Now let's just talk about someone who overcame something pretty amazing. How many people here know Nick Vujicic? Raise your hand. Well, don't raise your hand, I can't see you. Put it in the post for me, please. Nick Vujicic was born with no arms and no legs. He had a horrific childhood. He was bullied in ways that we can't even imagine. People treated him like he wasn't a real person. And at the age of 10, he actually attempted suicide. 10 years old. He didn't feel like he was worth anything. He couldn't get past the reality of what his life was. And he started believing those ghosts so much that he wanted to end the pain. However, he got some help. Today, somewhere in his early to mid 30s, Nick is a skydiver. He's a painter. He is a swimmer. He's a motivational speaker who has spoken to tens of thousands of people all over the world. He's a father and a husband. And this is a man who 20 plus years ago was weighed down so heavily by the ghosts of abuse and bullying and people trying to tear down his self-confidence. And he basically said, you know what? It's gone. I'm aware that it's an issue and I'm going to get the help I need to move forward. And Nick didn't just move forward, he raced forward. Heck, I'm not a skydiver. I'm not a painter. I'm barely a swimmer. How about you? What exciting things do you want to do? But your reaction to that is, I don't know, it's a little scary. I probably don't have what it takes to do it. I'm going to end the show by saying that's horse hockey. Find out what your ghosts are. Find out what they're doing to you. Take advantage of the real opportunities that are out there. Know that you deserve more. Get that baggage. Tell those ghosts to get their baggage out. Go. Give up the ghost. I appreciate all of you who came to visit with me today. Know that I will be here tomorrow to Super Successful Friday. So bring your great successes with you. Know that Vicki Helm will be back in the middle of next week. And know that the Metadyne Digital Network offers a lot of programming for you right here on this channel. Later today at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the extraordinary Tracy Wilson is bringing her Unlocked show again to this channel. And at 9 p.m. Eastern, Scott Stevens is bringing his Scott's Weather. Just two more of the amazing programs we have on the Metadyne Digital Network. Thanks for your time, everyone. Have an amazing day and believe in yourself because you deserve it. Bye.